Today, I want to talk about the idea of robo taxis for Tesla and what we think about it and how we think about generally the artificial intelligence efforts of Tesla and other companies. This is the Not Even Wrong podcast. It's July 11th, 2020. This is Krim Delko. It's a Saturday, so there's no update today. And I want to just jump right into the subject of artificial intelligence, self-driving car, robo taxis, and Tesla. So there's been a lot of talk about Tesla having the opportunity to launch a robo taxi network. Elon Musk has talked about it on the Autonomy Day in 2019. And quite frankly, we've never really bought into the story because we believe that an autonomous robo taxi network is not foreseeable in the near future, just from a technical perspective, from a regulatory perspective. There are other things that we think could be interesting. For example, one thing is sort of near remote type service. So, for example, trips from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, trips from San Francisco to Tahoe. So you fly in from, Brazil, and you want to go ski in Tahoe, and you board a Model X that drives you from SFO to Tahoe. And there could be a service in the near future that a driver takes you to the highway, and then on the actual highway, you really drive autonomously. That's possible. That's not that far remote, and we can see value in this type of service. So the value of artificial intelligence when it comes to self-driving comes down to a couple of factors, or like Andrej Karpathy, the head of AI at Tesla, says, it comes down to tasks. So one task is lane keeping, the other task is lane changing, and then the third task is exiting or entering highways, overtaking cars that are slow, of course, avoiding obstacles, things like that. So that, in a nutshell, is highway driving, which Navigate on Autopilot already allows on a Tesla. So that problem is probably solved. Maybe not 100%, but enough to see a potential for that kind of service where you you basically have robots driving on highways, driving people around. And there is a need for that. There is People travel 100, 200 miles all the time. That is a distance that you cannot cover with planes. And since the US doesn't have trains, it cannot be covered with trains either. So that there is a potential for something like a robot taxi for near remote type uh, services. Um, the actual robo taxi, sort of the substitution of Uber drivers, in our view, is just not foreseeable right now. The technology is not there, and it just doesn't feel right. And that leads me to the next subject, which is the question of, well, can we even make a car like that? Can we make a robot that can navigate in nature, in the wild? Um, Let me regress a bit. So Alan Turing, when he formulated the Turing test, in my view and in the view of other people that I respect, really was asking a recursive question. Can we create intelligence, and therefore are we intelligent? So it's a recursive question. Are we that intelligent to make intelligence? And I want to use that argument for the self-driving car. Can we make an intelligent robot that is as good as we are in driving in the wild, or actually much better? And therefore, are we intelligent enough to actually make something like that? And the question is, I'm not sure. That the fundamental idea is that we have a thing, an artificial intelligence that has a body, which is a car, has a body, has sensors, and drives around in nature. So that in itself is a good start. I think the chance that we can build something that has some sort of eye, some soul, some recursive nature, a loop, or whatever you want to call it. I'm reading Douglas Hofstadter's I'm a Strange Loop right now. I've read Carl Friston's work on the concept of minimizing variational free energy as a fundamental building block of life. So if I put all these ideas together, I'm getting to a similar type of conclusion that if we want to build a robot that is able to navigate nature, we have to build some sort of recursive logic that can build an I, a consciousness, or something along those lines, where the thing knows where it is, where the thing knows what is ahead of it, and where it can start planning according to its own goals what to do with the environment and with the situation that it's given. It doesn't have to have consciousness in a human sense of fairness and meaning and religion or anything like that. It is enough to have the kind of consciousness that a lion has when it's on in the prairie hunting for antelopes. I'm here, you're there. You're gonna run fast. I can run this way. If you run that way, I can catch you here. That kind of stuff, I think, will be enough for a self-driving car to start looking like an intelligent being that is able to navigate the wild. I'm not sure we're there yet. I haven't seen evidence in the AI research. I haven't seen evidence in the neuroscience research or in the philosophy of consciousness, or, well, any which way I look at it. Paleontologists writing about the evolution of intelligence, like Malcolm MacIver. I've seen fragments of it. MacIver's work has inspired me a lot. MacIver's work is the idea that when fish transitioned from water to land, the vision system was much better because on land, the light doesn't break as much as in the water, so you can see further. And therefore, the neural circuitry was developed that helps navigate on land and plan and hunt and avoid and all these things. So we developed this neural circuitry, and within that, and now I'm also using Hofstadter's ideas, the looping started. Okay, the thing which is me is here, the thing which is not me is there, and if that thing which is me goes to the left, then that thing which is not me goes to the right, and I might actually want to eat that thing because I have some memory of something similar being very good for my protein intake, and therefore why don't I run this way, and then that thing might escape, but if I hide, it might not escape. That kind of planning, according to the thesis of MacIver, it's a conjecture, of course. It's very hard to test, although he's done some simulations trying to test that thesis. But that is the theory which led to the development of the I, of the me, of the conscious being, of what we call intelligence, or some sort of intelligence that we humans consider intelligence. Now, again, to go back to Turing's work, well, maybe that's not even intelligence what we have. What we have is just some narrow form of information processing, and the real intelligence is the thing that can actually make something which is intelligent, something artificial. So coming back to Tesla, I think that Tesla has a lot of potential in using information processing and statistical optimization, things that we call machine learning these days, to advance the company, create products, sell software. These are all things that can happen and that can drive the stock up. But the real trillion-dollar question is, can Tesla harness artificial intelligence in a sense that it can create a sentient thing? Elon Musk has been talking about this at the World Artificial Intelligence Conference this week in Shanghai. He's mentioned the question that I ask myself a lot these days, which is, it started with hydrogen, it ended up in a sentient being, us, or even animals, or maybe even trees, but it definitely started with hydrogen. That's how the universe started. How the hell did that happen? That's the question. And there is one thing I want to mention here that gives me hope that maybe Tesla can do something that nobody else can do, which is the following. You can make the argument that if you go along the lines of MacGyver's argumentation that, okay, we have a body, we have vision, and we navigate and plan, and over the millions of years we develop neurocircuitry, which is intelligence and sentient. And then you can say, well, we humans can't do that because we don't have the time. We don't have the time to iterate that much to get to from chips, inference chips, training chips, like computer chips, to some sentient being. It just takes too long. Now, if Tesla has millions of cars driving billions of miles every year, having billions and billions and billions of events that it can test and learn from, and then also add reinforcement learning here, which isn't even as much in the talk at Tesla, but I think definitely part of the solution has to be some sort of reinforcement learning. If you add that to the equation, you could see that maybe the scale and the sheer amount of iteration that the fleet offers, combined with an intelligent data management, data center type solution, could accelerate the iteration and maybe within the next 10, 20 years actually get us to a sentient thing, something more intelligent than just a statistical optimization machine. 20 episode, I want to state there are 3 vectors that we believe Tesla can excel and propel itself to a multi-trillion-dollar company. One is artificial intelligence, the second is harnessing the energy of the sun, and third is developing artificial intelligence and using it for manufacturing and combining those two for something new, something that helps the company but also others iterate much faster and make manufacturing of things, so physical things, a lot more software-like. I think the third thing warrants its own episode, so that's not something I want to discuss right now. But the second thing, the harnessing of the sun, is the one where we think is the most near solution that explains why we believe Tesla can be a very, very valuable company. Because harnessing the energy of the sun is something that nobody really has done. It's something that Nikola Tesla, the actual Nikola Tesla, has dreamt about. And it's something that Elon Musk is definitely moving towards, because I feel like for him to make the trillions of dollars that he needs to make this planet an interplanetary society, he needs something which is enormous and free, and that is the sun, and he can harness that and turn it into businesses. And as far as the AI is concerned, like I discussed in this episode, it is definitely a huge driver, like it is for Google or other companies. We don't see the robo-taxi network and these kinds of things in the near term, but we see a lot of other potential and synergies coming out of the AI effort of Tesla, which will propel the stock. Thank you.